Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to episode 104 of the Casual Weebs podcast. Incredible week, not only because the Flyers are up 2-0 against the bum-ass Penguins, but anime is just absolutely incredible. We say this every time. It's just a funny thing. This season, I wanted to, dial it back. I wanted to get back into binging animes and kind of, be more selective with the week-to-week brand new stuff. Yeah, that lasted all of 3 minutes. Bro, I came into the season, by the way, really excited about the Angel Next Door Spoils Me Ryan. I'm like, yo, this is going to be the anime of the season. It's going to be peak. It's going to be amazing. Bro, it is being outshined. Listen, we're not going to necessarily talk about week to week, but if you know, you know it. If you want a good romance, I'm telling you, I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class, and also, where is it? It is the Why Can't Gals, Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. Both of them are just so fucking wholesome, so sweet, and just peak. They're just so good. There's 2 more that got added to the watch list. It's absolutely insane. I'm like, let me just check them out. You know what I mean? Let's see if they're good. I'll save them for next season.
Just check them out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, week to week now. It's fucking insane. But we gotta talk about Wistoria. Wistoria, especially this week, was incredible. I want to start, though, by one thing that I think that they did where it's just idiots. Idiots. As you see the post-credits scene, that was bullshit. That was stupid.
Yo, dude, I'm so bad about that. I always turn it off when it hits the credits. And then, you'll miss shit.
Because, no, you want to miss shit. Because next episode is going to be... Okay, remember the manga panel I sent you?
Was it a preview? Like, a preview for the next episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always end up skipping that because I'm going to be here next week.
Yeah,
you know I'm gonna be
exactly.
Here. So I usually don't watch them. But yeah, I do remember that super badass panel.
That's what the post-credit scene was. Next episode is that moment where it's going to be incredible, insane, everyone's been waiting for it. It's the fucking moment. And, let's actually just show them and give them a little preview. It's like you just spoiled the peak of next episode in some, catch it next week type of shit. Honestly, I feel like we have to just skip the post-credit scenes now unless it's, the end of a season, because that is just... You guys fucked up. That's insane.
I totally agree. I always kind of do that. Some endings are really badass, and it'll take me a couple weeks to be like, oh, shit, let me watch, the end, the end song.
Mm-hmm.
But, I would rather not be spoiled. 1, because I know I'm going to be here next week.
Yeah.
And 2, to me, it's kind of akin to, a movie preview. They're going to show you, a handful of the best parts to get you interested and be like, oh, yeah. But if you know you're going to be watching Wistoria this season, I'm not going to, spoil the next episode for myself. So I did not know that, but I'm glad I skipped it because... Yeah, you don't want to spoil peak, you know what I mean? It's all about that moment when you see that. And from the manga panel, it looks really, really crazy.
Dude, it is so clean. It is so cool. I'm just saying this, no spoilers, unlike Wistoria. Next episode is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We're going to get into it next week. It is absolutely insane. But, I mean, this start to the season has been phenomenal, too. What's going on in Will fighting and everything, and Frosty? Frosty? Is he actually... Yeah. Is he dead? Is this real? You know what I mean? That's something we have to talk about next week, too, as well. It's been phenomenal. We talked a lot about Wistoria with Season 1 when it came out. But you're comparing it to Black Clover, because Black Clover is insane. As you go on, the writing kind of gets worse, and honestly, it's kind of lost its entire fan base at this point, especially if you're reading the manga, because what was that? Wistoria seems to actually have the legs. You know what I mean? It had a great Season 1. Insane animation. That's what we, harped on, was how pretty it is, and how insane it is, and gorgeous, and it's incredible. Dude, the plot twists we are getting are insane. I'm loving so far Season 2. Frosty, I think, is genuinely dead. I don't think it's something where they're just baiting characters. We're actually having consequences, and I'm always a fan of that. But so far, the first, 2 episodes of Season 2 have been insane. It is, I think, one of my top, if not my top, anime so far this season.
Dude, we loved Season 1. We raved about it. We were kind of on it from the beginning. Maybe as a sleeper, and, kind of going back to your point about, maybe dialing it back this season and pick up some old animes, a couple sleepers here and there. It's so hard when the quality is so consistently good. And Wistoria did not disappoint. They really kept the momentum from Season 1 going. And, this episode, I think, really highlighted, where we're at, especially with our cast. Will locks in. He's like, all right, let's fucking do this. He starts out strong, but once he meets that last demon, or, the OP one.
Yeah.
He was like, no matter what I try, no matter how I think, or, how much book knowledge I know, there's nothing you can study that will, help me win this fight right here. So you're like, all right, Will's, pretty beaten up about this. He just can't seem to get it. And then you bring in Frosty, and Frosty has always kind of been watching Will, maybe from afar, Frosty, he might not have known he's there. It's, kind of ambiguous at times. Obviously, they're extremely close, but, he's there, riding for Will, and he gets fucked up.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if he survives, but dude, he came in clutch, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, an awakening for Will or have like a super cool moment. Not really. Like it was at the very end of the episode, but there's no amount of like, angry Super Saiyan type transformation he's gonna pull off that's gonna win him this fight. So it feels like, yeah, exactly like you said, like the stakes are pretty high. We've got characters getting maybe taken out, obviously seriously hurt. Wistoria is a banger. And for it to start off like this with the first 2 episodes, not counting the recap, really, really well done. It feels just as like high stakes and as entertaining as season 1 did right from the rip.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible, and it's just like Will had such a tough 2 episodes because it's like, yeah, you actually failed and you can't go to the tower, so you got hit with that, and then he got Rossi killed right in front of him. Like I think Rossi is 100% dead. There is a theory,
Definitely.
and it's been talked about widely this week. And it's not confirmed, so I feel like we can kind of talk about it. The theory is that Rosti is a clone of Alfaria. She
Yeah.
furthered her magic where not only she can create clones, but she can like change them, and she created Rosti. Because this episode, Rosti, when he dies, blows up into a bunch of different ice crystals. Questionable. Also, every time we saw Rosti this episode, Alfaria had her eyes closed, showing that like maybe she's down there controlling Rosti. Also, when you think about Rosti, I mean, this goes back to us talking about season 1 where we're like, yo, BL, let's go. Rosti and Will together. That's the couple. Because they talked about
Come
bathing
on now.
together. He keeps, like, Rosti's thinking he keeps cock blocking everybody and just being like, Will's mine, motherfucker. So, Alfaria
Yes.
controlling him makes a shitload of sense. Now, it's something that even in the manga hasn't been, like, said. You know what I mean? But the only thing that kind of like goes against this theory is that when Rossi got his arm cut off this episode, there was blood. If he's a clone, why is there blood? So that's like something where it's absolutely insane. And again, if this is true, where he's a clone and Alfaria is controlling him, dude, this anime is peak. Like, it's absolutely... So we've already talked about it, where we're getting into the manga the second the season ends. The second the season ends, we are going to be binging, instantly catching up, because it's 60 chapters right now, and it's a monthly release. So, like, God, boys. I mean, peak waits. It's annoying.
Yeah, and like I'm greedy, so I want them week to week, but like I see the toll it takes on authors. So like
Yeah.
monthly really isn't that bad as long as you stick to it. Otherwise, you end up like Goku Rako guy, and you just got to check in every couple weeks because you never know when you're getting a chapter. Also popping off, but let's stay on track.
Yeah.
Wistoria really has like this, I guess like mysteriousness to like what's really going on, and like now we're getting into the Watchtower, we're getting into the mages and the people that are there. We haven't really gotten anything from Alfaria yet, but like you can feel the stories like really starting to progress. And now we have like tangible villains.
Yeah.
You saw these 2 guys in the dungeon. The one guy's design where he's like headless, but he's like writing everything he says.
So good.
Very fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Just feels like a villain. Everything's black and purple. Very cool. You feel like you're really like taking that next step into like the first major arc of Wistoria.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the dungeon was a pretty important aspect of it, kind of like, the laggard, like basically saving all the other like top mages in his class. But this feels like a major story point. And I didn't know it only has 60 chapters, so like this is probably the most important bit of content that we have in the story so far. So if anything, this is kind of like Wistoria's biggest moment of like, yo, get in, read this, watch this. Because I will definitely be crushing the manga as soon as this is done. I'm trying not to spoil it, but
Well, you know what's insane?
I've been known to not have the best self-control there.
Dude, season 1 was only 21 chapters. Like,
Oh, wow.
So it's like
And
it's
that
only
varies,
60.
too.
Yeah, it's only like I think right now it just dropped at chapter 67. But when you think about it, it's like we still have so much content. Like if you think of that, like it's a season's 20 chapters, it's like that's a lot. That's 4 seasons right there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of crazy.
And a monthly manga, I know this because of DBZ and like some Goku Rocker guy, the chapters are significantly bigger and longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna get a little more because you have more time than just 7 days.
Yeah.
Shout out Kagurabachi, man lives for the game.
Yep,
I found his Twitter today and it was like, oh, I need to follow this man now.
100%.
But either way, like you do get a little more content. So like maybe those almost 70 chapters are really like 90 of a weekly manga because you have so much more per chapter. So like, yeah, I definitely could see a season 3. I think it's important for animes of this like caliber. It's not like a JJK or whatever, Black Clover, where you hear the name and you're like, oh, let me tune in. Like I'll be there even if it's 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Like Wistoria, that kind of like level, it is popular, but not like, maybe global. Even
That's
maybe
what I
that's too much
love.
to say.
Because the fact that people wrote it off in season one, it's like, oh, dude, it's just a knockoff Black Clover. Like, this anime's ass.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people shit on it in season one. It doesn't have that, like, insane community where it's, like, toxic. It's annoying. It's just argumentative. Like, it's, like, very, like, genuine, and it's still good. You know what I mean?
You know how it's genuine? There's no Wistoria power scalers out there. And don't
Not
get me wrong,
yet.
we do it on the pod, but yeah, it's coming. That's like a benchmark of
It's us.
popularity.
We're the power scalers.
Where's the subreddit for Wistoria power scaling? Nah, in all seriousness, please don't fucking do that. But like,
Yeah.
it's cool that yeah, you don't have that like crazy popularity and like, 50 guys who have read the manga are like, oh well, XYZ is true, this isn't true, this happens, this happens. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, I just went on one Reddit post and now I know like the next 40 chapters if you're
Yeah.
not caught up.
And the cool
So
thing
that kind of
is,
like
I would say, and the cool thing is that like we have like this theory of Rusty, but again, it's not confirmed even in the manga. So it's like something fun to like speculate, but it's like, yo, we're gonna get something later on where it's like, let's go. You know what I mean? We have no idea because again, him having blood when his arm gets cut off is like a big like, how is that possible? So it kind of like goes against it. It's kind of like it's like it the one thing that makes it not true, which is really cool. And I had a buddy who was like, "Yo, screw this," because he's like you. He's like, "I can't wait," and he prefers manga over the anime. So the fact when we started getting into this season, he's like, "Yeah, fuck this." He's I think on chapter 40 or 50 already. He's like, dude, it gets so much better. He's like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is literally the beginning. Like, it's insane how crazy it gets. So I'm super stoked for the rest of the season, but also for afterwards, we just absolutely binge and then make a video on it because the art's amazing.
oh hell yeah.
And there's so much content. And like I said, it has the legs. Like, it's actually like good writing. Like, it's so good, and the community's
Yeah.
great too. So like, Wistoria, in my opinion, peak, bro, peak.
Definitely peak, bro. Next episode, I think will be an episode where it, like pulls more people in, and it's like, oh, this isn't just like a good anime. This is like kind of one of those giants of the season. And you don't have, like last season, you don't have a million like major animes where that can like
You
overshadow
kinda
it or like.
do. You kind of. I mean, Classroom of the Elite. You have Time Out Reincarnates the Slime. You have ReZero. There's a couple.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not like the main isekai guy. Like I don't really
Same.
watch that many, but like they are huge,
Mhm.
and I do love Classroom of the Elite. But it still is like carved out its own space where like people are excited for it. But I think next episode it'll be like, you see clips, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, whatever, Instagram Reels. You're like, oh shit, this looks crazy.
Mhm.
For me, that's like Invincible. I don't know, how many people out there are watching Invincible on Amazon, but like I've seen a couple clips and it was like, oh my god, this is gruesome and badass. Like
Mhm.
that would be something that would pull me in to watch that. But yeah, hopefully, excuse me, episode 3 for Wistoria is that episode for like the casuals or the people who may be on the fence about it.
I just worry that the preview ruined it because I saw people posting the preview all over like TikTok and YouTube, and people are like, "Dude, why the fuck is everyone spoiling? Why is
No.
everyone spoiling?" And we're like, "Guys, the episode's already out." Like they're like, "Why is the episode out? How are people posting?" It's like, guys, it was the post credits. Like a lot of people didn't see it and didn't know, and then they got spoiled on it and they're like, "Dude, what the fuck?" So like there is that animosity right now where people are like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" You know what I mean? So I feel like it's not gonna hit as hard. I, like a degenerate, not to spoil anything, wanted to see that manga panel, and we're gonna post it in the next video because then it's not spoiled. So next week, you guys can see how fucking peak this panel is. In finding it,
Yeah.
I of course ended up getting like the next episode spoiled because there's like you had to go 1 or 2 chapters, and there is a lot that happens next episode that is pretty fucking insane. So the entire episode isn't spoiled, but yeah, it's definitely the highlight, and I feel like it's just dumb. Like, why'd you do that? And it's like animators need to fuck off. The studios are now starting to ruin animes in certain ways. But I just talked to my buddy about this, the one who got into the manga, and he's like, "Yo, there is this insane moment in ReZero, right? That's gonna happen next season, where." And he didn't say anything. He's just like, it involved stairs. It involved stairs. That's all he told me. Because he didn't want to spoil it for me. And he's like, they call him an aura monster because of that moment. That moment, which isn't supposed to be until next season, is in the intro. So animators spoiled
Yeah,
it in
see,
order
bro?
to like appease people of being like, look at this peak moment. And it's like, dude, for like a lot of anime onlys, they don't know what that fucking scene is, and you just ruined it. You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys doing that?
And I'm the fucking worst at this. I will talk about it. Like most people
You
aren't
have
like
it's
fully
hard
caught up.
not to. I
Dude,
get
or
it.
like Kagurabachi. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking to the girl I'm seeing. Yes, real live female. She does exist. But she's like, "Oh, tell me about Kagurabachi." And then I like, so I'm explaining it. And you're like hitting somebody with like 120 chapters of lore, characters,
Yeah.
family relations, and abilities. And then I like look at my text and it's just like, dude, I popped off there. Like, I'm a big fan. But, now you're caught up. You know all about his uncle and everything. It was just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But, like, people will see that and talk to people who are anime onlys or, not quite there yet or not caught up or whatever. So it is, I feel like, not even a double-edged sword. It's more of a negative, especially if you're trying to not spoil stuff for yourself.
That is the thing where it's going to be hard to talk about next episode, where we might have to skirt around certain things because, again, not trying to spoil anything. With the whole thing with this preview is that it's like it brings up the conversation of Will's backstory, and I got the backstory spoiled, so it's like, oh fuck, we have to play dumb then.
I gotcha.
And it's really hard because his backstory is super exciting. The moment is super exciting, so you want to dive into it, and it's like, why do you guys have to do it? You know what I mean? Just like leave it alone. Don't touch it, because when you bring up the topic, anime viewers and manga readers, they're passionate, and that's the best part about it. But we want to geek out about it. You know what I mean? That's why we have a fucking podcast. So when you sit there and you show it, it's like, dude, how can we not? It's like giving a crack at a crack. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you expect?
I've done it a million times with like JJK. I'm sure I've done it on the podcast more than once. Like,
yeah.
Or you hear of like something that reminds you of it, and it's like, oh yeah, when Skuna, and then you're like,
oh,
never mind.
Just kidding.
I didn't say anything. Yeah, just kidding. That doesn't happen at all in chapter 213.
You hate when you get to that point. They're like, yeah, I didn't get to that part in the manga yet, and you're like, oh fuck, ooh, my bad. Like you recommend an anime to somebody, you bring something up, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't get to that episode yet. And you're like, oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like you'll forget.
It's so hard. You're so right, dude.
So
People
sorry.
are passionate. And it's hard not to want to talk about it, which is like part of the great thing about it. But I try my best not to spoil shit, but it is hard. And I think just given the social media landscape, it's really easy to see clips that are showing you the highlights of an episode. So it is easy to spoil. And then it's like, well, I already kind of know what's going on. Not really, but like the build up do make those moments way more satisfying.
Yeah. And in that aspect too, you can't blame the people putting it online if it's in the episode. You know what I mean? Like in the studio shouldn't be dropping it as the preview for the next thing. Like it's
the only time I like that was Junpei in the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like they like paint this friendship that literally never happens. He just gets fucking killed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, all right, Mappa, I see what you're doing. I can appreciate that, but it's not necessarily a spoiler.
Exactly.
Versus showing something that's coming up later in the season or another season, which like feels kind of like, bait and switch type thing. But, I get it. Given how popular certain things are, and like if you have a really long running manga, it's hard not to.
It's like with journalism, how it's like it turned more into clickbait than actual work. It's like when you do that with ReZero and you're spoiling something, a big moment from next season. Boys, come on. Like, it seems like you're just looking for clicks and looking for, like, making the people happy instead of actually staying on track and on source. You know what I mean? Where it's just, like, it's just low-hanging fruit. It's like, why are you doing that? It's just, like, kind of, like, sad. But, like, they're just looking for clicks. They're looking for the hype, the attention, so they can get, money to then do the next season. But it's ReZero. Like, you're going to be able to finish out and have anime for the rest of the manga. Like, it's not like the hype's going to die out where you're not able to produce more seasons.
Yeah, and, like, there's a bunch of like pages on Reddit or whatever, and people will like freak out about spoilers. It's like you're on a manga subreddit for a manga that's been done for like 2 years. You know what I mean? You should not be here if you're not caught up.
Yeah.
So like that is all part of it, but yeah, I try my best not to spoil stuff for myself. Obviously for other people, not the best at that. Watch yourself with Jujutsu Kaisen,
Well, Google does it too. We talked about how you'd be like, hey, what's the next season for Wistoria? And it's like, by the way, this happens. It's like, I'm not even kidding.
Will die. I'm not like, I didn't ask that.
Yeah, great. Bro, I'm not even kidding. When I first got into Demon Slayer, true story, swear to God, I looked up how many seasons there's going to be or how many arcs or whatever. Oh no, when's the next season? Because it was just after the Entertainment District or whatever, and I was like, yo, wait, when's the next season? Like, this is really good. And it's like, oh, so this is what happens with Tanjiro. And I'm like, I just wanted to know when season 4 was coming out, not the literal fucking ending. It was the literal ending. That was 3 years ago. I've known the ending the entire time because I just wanted to know when the next season was of Demon Slayer, and Google was like, fuck you. Like, enjoy.
Either way.
And I'm like, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Great. AI is great, by the way. I love the AI thing at the Google. Thank you, Google. It's God's work. God's work. But
I asked for that.
I mean, let's
be
honest.
You got to be careful.
I mean, and that's just kind of like low-key the price to pay when you're into anime, is that there is spoilers everywhere. We try our best not to, but I know we even spoil shit sometimes too, and it's just like, it sucks. But that's why you gotta get into the manga. That's why you have to watch subs, because you have to stay on top so you can't be spoiled.
Dude, it's so true. It feels so degenerate sometimes, but I'm like, all right, season's over. Let's go read 80
You
chapters.
have to though, or it's gonna be spoiled. Like you have no choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, either you'll read it and enjoy it, or somebody will spoil something for you that makes you want to go read it, and the impact isn't the same.
Yeah, like it's absolutely insane. But getting back on track with Wistoria season 2 so far, 2 episodes, it's peak. It is really good. It's amazing. It's one of those series where again I was really hoping for it to like be something, and it became that thing I wanted. You know what I mean? I made the
Right away,
wish.
too.
Yeah, and it was just like, we got you, bro. Don't you worry. And it scratched
Don't
me
worry.
itch that I wanted Black Clover to be, and I'm just hyped. I'm here for every fucking season, every fucking year. Take your time. We're reading the manga regardless. The second this shit ends, like we have to.
Hell yeah.
It's that good.
Dude, so good. Definitely one of my, I would say Wistoria and Classroom of the Elite were two, not even really Classroom. They were like two animes I didn't watch or know about that I've come to really love the whole series, like very, very much because we're, doing the pod, watching more stuff.
Yep.
Love Classroom. Wistoria, I think, is kind of, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but like one of those kind of like low key sleepers that ends up being your favorite or
Yeah.
like really dominates the season with its quality. And you're like, damn, how did I not know about this before? Yeah, Wistoria is simply put.
I mean, speaking of Clash with the Elite, though, you kind of brought it up. Do we just kind of get right into it? Like, next episode, it kind of pops off, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because we've had, like, 2 or 3 episodes here of build-up, like, to the island arc. And I'm all for it. Whenever Clash with the Elite gets islands involved, it is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, it is amazing. We had, Classroom A and Classroom C team up, which is getting kind of crazy because Classroom C is like the pushover classroom. It's the power of friendship, you know what I mean? So the fact that they're like, yo, we're getting kind of dirty here, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I want a couple million. Protect 5 people, which I think is it like what 36 million points to make sure that we can have 5 people protected from expulsion, and they're like, we'll team up, we'll make sure that not everyone can team up against Class A. Like, I kind of like it. It's changing the vibe and dynamic of Class C. They're not the power of friendship class anymore, you know what I mean? Or starting to not be.
Yeah, they almost felt like the weakest and kind of like
Most pathetic.
sure,
Not a
yeah, no, and like the way the blonde girl kind of comes at Sakana Yagi. She was like, like, I didn't really pin you to be that type of person. Like, I'll work with you. That was pretty devious. It was like, ooh, just classic classroom twist right there. And it totally, I don't know. I don't know how to take this. In the beginning of the episode, you see the teacher and our blonde-haired king, Koenji. She was like, we are not going to, like, make no special rules. You're not going to get sick and swim back to the boat. Absolutely not. And the penalty will be more points than you have. I know how much you have.
Yeah, bro, I love how, like, that's what he did in season 1. I forgot about it. I'm so glad they reminded us that he just got sick. He's like, fuck it. And he went and chilled on the boat the entire time.
The ultimate, like, not giving a fuck, dude. And then he asks Ayana Koji, he was like, yo, how about we team up? And he was like, yeah, can't trust you, bro. You don't give a fuck. And he was like, so true. Totally understand. I'll have to think about how to figure this out. That just walks the fuck away. Goated character. But it's been a while since he knows Iona Koji's like creeping around the corner and listening.
Yeah.
Hits him with the classic, Iona Koji, my boy. I'm like, yes. I fucking love Koenji. So good.
Bro,
but like,
it's
it'll be
insane.
interesting to see like if this island test is where Koenji shows out, or like, either mentally or athletically, like you're like, oh, just like Iona Koji's been hiding his talent, Koenji might be like a real player in one facet or multiple facets. So I feel like they did that to kind of like nudge you, like, yeah, remember last time? This won't be the same thing.
Well, I'm really interested. Is he gonna steal Ayana Koji's spotlight? Because Ayana Koji's like, I'm not teaming up with anybody. I'm going solo. And not only is this
True.
island test the 4 classes, it is involving multiple grade levels, which I think is fucking insane too. One thing though that I want to say, I think it's weird. It would be too hard to do. It's weird that they're like, yo, it's just like the middle class and the underclassmen. What about the upperclassmen? You're starting to bleed between the grades, which is like this new thing. You have this new class president.
Yeah.
Why are we getting the upper class? Like, that kind of is like weird that you're kind of just like ignoring that there's been anybody else at the school ever before they came in.
And like, you're right, they have kind of grayed the structure of the school outside of class A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And you're more like focused on characters and relationships rather than like the classes necessarily like fighting each other.
Yeah.
Because like Ryuen's, I guess, underlings, because he kind of treats all of them like shit.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, we need Ayana Koji. You did beat the shit out of this guy in the first season or second season, whichever it was. We should work together. And they're all like, did you tell Ryuen about this? Because he would not like that. And they're like, well, no. So like, it's to me more about the dynamics of like the characters and the classes rather than the grades, which like that's subjective to if you like it or not. But yeah, I kind of feel like it's less about the school and more about the people and the major players, if you will.
Yeah. But like, it's still gonna be sick though, because like again, Ayana Koji's like, "Yo, I'll take you all fucking on. I'll go solo." You know what I mean? Like, if he wins, like that's gonna be a huge payout, which is gonna be insane too. And he got the trials card, which means he needs to place in the top, whatever, or they're fucked, which is insane
So it's
too.
basically like a double down. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll fuck his points up, and even if he does well, it'll completely negate any progress and be negative.
Yeah.
So he's completely like doubled and tripled down on like doing this solo, but also coming out like maybe not at the top, but like top 5, top 3. I forget what it has to be.
I think
So
top
like
three or
his
something, or 30%, top 30%. Because you got to imagine the
yeah,
class that
that's what it
he's
was.
in, the grade is I think 150 students. Because I think the whole thing about season 1 was like, oh, Ayana Koji 1v150. You know what I mean? So if there's multiple grades here, you're talking about like 300 students. You're talking about 450 students. Like, that's insane that he's gonna have to place even top 30%. You know what I mean?
So like you take it at the grade for 150, top 50, very easy to fly under the radar,
Mhm.
just do good enough, finish 48, 50, Ayana Koji style, like
Yeah.
under the radar. Now he's got to finish top 20, top 15, top 5
Yeah.
to like really A, protect his class, but B, double down and kind of like reassure the gamble that he's taken and kind of been given. So like the stakes for this feel way higher than anything I feel like we've had in classrooms so far.
And he's not having any teammates. Like, is that going to affect him in some of the challenges? Are you going to need multiple people? You know what I mean? Him going solo and not being in a group, because you're supposed to go into like these small groups. I think of like 2 or 3 people, or like I think it's partnerships based off the one girl. That's so funny how he's getting into the romance side of thing now. He's like, oh, our boy's about to get heartbroken. Shit, we got to fix this up. Yeah, this is gonna be a disaster. He's seen too
I need
many.
to know why he likes her. They're just like, well, he plays basketball,
Yeah.
I guess. And Aniko's just like, unacceptable. She's gonna break my classmate's heart. They're like, oh, are you looking out for him? No, but he's in my class. Like
Yeah.
that dynamic is so funny. It's so like methodical and like void of emotion sometimes, which is kind of why we love Ayana Koji.
Yeah, he just doesn't understand the relationships. He has to, like he's been around enough to know that relationships
He
fuck
has a
over
girlfriend.
everything. Well, I mean, how many times has something got fucked up because of feelings? You know what I mean? So now he's like realizing he's like, oh shit, these horny motherfuckers. We need to put an end to this. This is sidetracked
So
the
true,
class
bro.
way too many times, and he's like trying to understand it. He knows the consequences of it, but he doesn't know how to handle it, which makes it so fucking funny. He's like, why does she like him? Why does he like her? And just him trying to figure it out. He's like, like, okay, I have no idea. He's like, Suzume, can you handle this, please? Like, Horikito, whatever her name is, can you
Yeah,
take care of this?
you do this bullshit.
Yeah.
And I like it at one point. I think it was in like it's hard to remember what episode because they hit us with like 4 episodes in the beginning.
Which is,
But
I'm
he's
so
out-
grateful for.
So good, dude. I think maybe when Horikita's trying to get him to cook, he's like, "Oh, I had to learn something else today."
Yeah.
But it's always something like very domestic or like emotionally driven. It's not like math. They were never taught that he just aced the test. It was
Yeah.
like, why do my classmates have crushes on each other?
It's
Brother, you're like
gross.
15. You're 15. That's how it goes.
Oh, dude, it's so
That
fucking
aspect of
funny.
classroom is dude, it's hysterical. That's why it's one of my favorites. And I feel like it hits a niche that like I'm sure there's other anime that are like in that same vein, but for me I haven't seen anything really like it. I fucking love it, dude. I love classroom.
Dude, I cannot wait. I think that this arc's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be multiple episodes. So that's why I was like, "Yo, let's talk about it." You know what I mean? That way we can just focus purely on the island test because a lot's kind of built up to it, and I feel like it's just gonna be huge. I wonder how many episodes it's gonna be because remember we got the first 4, but it's gonna be 16 episode season. You know what I mean? We're still getting like a larger sample size, so it's like what's going to be after it, what's kind of leading up to this. We still have the bounty on his head. I think that they said that the bounty ends at the end of this test, so he has a bounty on his head of 20 fucking million throughout this entire time too. So not only is he going solo against multiple grades, not just multiple classes, but he's got a bounty on his head, so it's going to be insane. It's going to be incredible.
I can't wait to see if there's like a showdown between Hosen and Ryuin. Just 2 delinquent, like scrappy dudes. I would love to see that, and kind of like how Ayana Koji fits into that. Because Ryuin, he'll always be bitter. Ayana Koji beat the brakes off him, and like defeated him mentally and physically. But he knows that and respects it in a way that like Ryuin kind of like keeps him close enough, but like doesn't make him an enemy.
Yeah.
So like I feel like they might work together, and it'll be interesting to see how that all kind of like plays together. So yeah, super excited for the rest of this arc.
Dude, I'm really excited about it. It's like the same thing with Witch Hat, where it's like we can't really go too much into it because there's not like a whole lot that happened this episode, but we're really getting into the other old school witches, which I just kind of want to say, I hate that they redesigned. Like the whole rebranding of witches, so much cooler back in the day. We've seen the one that's really interested in
Oh
Coco.
yeah, with the masks and
Yeah,
stuff.
but it showed us the other
Way
ones where
cooler.
it's like, oh yeah, you know, they're old school witches. They have these different hats with masks, and it showed like a whole bunch of them. It's like, they look sick. This new rebranding of
Yeah.
witches is lame, bro. Like, go back to the old ways. I'm down to stop the villains because of that.
It immediately made me think. I totally agree. It made me think of like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s sports logos. You know, you'd have like the Toronto Raptor dribbling the basketball, or like,
Yeah.
you know, like the old 76ers style. And it was like everything's more like clean, super sharp lines. Like you don't have that same character to it.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The masks were badass, and it made, even though we didn't meet any of these witches, it almost felt like they were all like very individual or had their own personalities based on the way they looked, which I feel like that definitely hits like a nerve.
Well, and their actions too, because what we've seen so far is that we've talked about how Coco's probably special. It seems like this witch picked her specifically, you know, did everything with purpose. You know, it even said at the end of the second episode, I think it was the second episode, where it's like, oh, the seed has finally like sprouted or whatever. Like, okay, something's definitely
Yeah.
going on where they have a plan with Coco. And they even said this episode, I don't know if anyone called it, that she's what they need to save them or something like that. Like something is going on with those witches, and they need Coco for their survival or like just to continue, you know, whatever it is. There's definitely way more going on behind the scenes. It seems like it was only this witch specifically, though, because it's like, okay, we've seen the designs of the other ones, but where are they? You know what I mean? Do they have a plan with Coco? You know what I mean? It kind of like further back that they kind of work like Lone Rangers, like very solo, because like I feel like we'd see other ones by now also.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And like you said earlier, it's kind of hard to like extrapolate or think of like scenarios or what could be going on because it just premiered, so you don't really have that much backstory
Yeah.
given you're an anime only, which is like also part of the charm and allure of like watching something new. But it definitely feels like Coco, obviously is the main character, is special in some way.
No. Say it ain't so.
I don't want to presume anything, but like we still don't know how Kiefer feels. Agate, we really don't know. Seems a little bitter, but is obviously like knows a lot more than.
Kind of a bitch.
Is Agate a boy or girl?
I think a girl.
Is it a girl? I
Yeah.
think so too.
Like Agate's like she's gonna grow, I guess, on Coco. Like you have to end up being friends. It kind of seemed that way from the intro. But like right now, like we gotta learn her backstory because like she's really coming at Coco like in a nasty way. It's like, yo,
Sucks,
leave
dude.
our girl alone, bro. She's trying, bro. Like you almost killed her, but like there's no repercussions. Like Kiefer didn't go to her at all. Be like, hey, you shouldn't have had like. Coco
was
got yelled
fucked
at.
up.
Yeah, Coco got yelled at for that. Like, you shouldn't have used magic riskfully. It's like, she got sentenced to this fucking test and was told to fuck off if she didn't by fucking the other girl. Like, why are we yelling at her? And then she, like, ditches her with, like, a dragon around. Like, there's a literal fucking dragon roaming around. She's like, you know what? Fuck you. We're going elsewhere because you're fucking the problem. And it's like, no one's teaching her, bro. No one's, like, being there for her. She's, like, kind of forced to do dumb shit.
And she has like no formal training. It's not like Togen and Ki, we watched a couple seasons ago, I think. They're in class, we go out and do shit. We go back, Mudano teaches them. You know, like you're in class and learning. Or like even Naruto. There's like a lot of classroom time, training time and shit like that. She's just like balls to the wall all the time. And like they do get tricked in this episode, so it'll be interesting to see like kind of the repercussions and how Kiefer feels. But like I feel like is hiding his true intentions or like how he really feels because he literally gets back. Coco gets back and he scolds her for just like willy nilly doing whatever. And Agate doesn't get in any trouble. She's just mad about her shoes that got muddy or wet.
Yeah.
My sister in Christ, you can buy another pair, make another sigil on another pair of shoes.
Yeah.
She wasn't like, yo, good job, that was crazy. You fucked up my leather slippers.
Well, she's like, fuck, you survived. Like, I'm stuck with your ass. Like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, bro. And honestly, Coco seems to have, like, the insight, too, but she's the only one who spotted that sigil on the wall. That, I'm really excited to see what that's about. That's gonna be kind of crazy, too.
For me, Coco feels like the outsider in the room. Like, traditional witches and the traditional upbringing will miss the things that Coco will pick up. Or she'll take a more roundabout way to achieve something, but she does it, like, creatively and, like, figures shit out on her own. I think that will make Witch Hat really good, but Coco's character be like a really solid MC and how it builds the dynamic with somebody like Agate or Kiefer, who I kind of feel like, I don't want to say he's using the girls, but like they don't really know what he's up to. They think he's just like super nice Gojo looking guy.
Well, I'm
And
really
like,
interested to see what his beef is with those other witches. Because he even said, he's like, yo, I thought that Coco would lead me to them. I never would have thought, and to be fair, neither did we, that the witches would go after her. You know what I mean? Like, that's, because
yeah,
episode 2
right.
kind of showed the witches kind of looking out from afar, like, okay, let's check on Coco's progress. She kind of went right in, you know what I mean? And kind of showed themselves. Even the one guy who was making, like, the wands, it looked like he was, like, carving them, didn't even recognize it. He's like, oh, yeah, they're following some witch with a mask. And he's like, that kind of witch, I forgot the name of it, but he's like, oh, the so-and-so witch, and he's like, that's what that was? Like, because he knew what they were, like the
The
boogeyman.
kid recognized it, or he didn't recognize it. He was like, yeah, it was like a witch with like a different outfit or
like,
whatever.
with
Like
some mask on. He's like, the, what's it called, witch? Like, wait, he knew what they were, but he didn't know what they
brim
looked
caps.
like. Yeah, the brim caps.
And Kiefer was like, oh shit. So he knows the brim caps. He knows that's probably, well, he does know that's who gave Coco the wand and the book of insane forbidden magic.
Yeah.
And like, there's lore there that we don't know yet. Kiefer obviously knows, but you're so right. There's 2 dudes who literally sell magic shit at Isekai Costco. Had no idea who they were. I just saw that because he was like, "Oh, they love your store. Everything's so great." I'm like, "Oh, they're at Costco. That's where they are. You could buy a TV, an iPhone, and get your groceries all in one place."
Bro, that's actually so fucking funny. Oh my god, we have to keep using that. That's actually so good. But yeah, what's insane about it is that like everyone knows what these witches are, right? Because like they're like again like the boogeyman, but like they're so rare that no one sees them. Where he saw one and didn't recognize it. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh wait,
Yeah,
fuck,
true.
that's what they look like. Like that's insane. So the fact that they're that aggressive and that like bold to like show themselves to Coco and like just show up is insane too. So like I cannot wait to see what they did to Kiefer to make him like so like, I'm gonna hunt you the fuck down. You know what I mean? Like, what is that backstory? You know, what's that beef? I want to know.
Absolutely, it definitely feels like that. Not that he's like curious or like, why are they after Coco? It feels more like, ah, fuck, it's the brim caps. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta find them and make sure this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's more of like adversarial versus like mysterious. You know what I mean? It's kind of both, but like Kiefer knows something we don't as the viewer. 4 episodes in.
So I'm stoked. I cannot wait. I feel like this was a really cool, not even like a build up episode. Like we're at this insane dragon maze, which is dope. I think the sigil on the wall might be like the alternate world that they're in. You know what I mean? If she breaks it, you break the spell, which would be really cool. But it's like I'm really excited to see how this closes up, and hopefully I'm hoping we get a nice little lore bomb. Where Kiefer's like, oh, here's kind of what happened, type of thing. You know what I mean? You kind of get more. But it's like they're very like it's typically with like series you kind of get like teased to the final boss like throughout the episodes. We're getting right fucking into it, you know what I mean? Which means that there's so much that we don't know, and it's like, dude, I want more. I need to know more, you know what I mean? Like I hope this is like continues this fast-paced pacing that it has,
I was gonna say, like, just watching it, it feels like it's like baby steps or it's slow. And then you hit like the test, and now you're seeing the brim caps. We're in a dragon maze. Like, all this stuff is like popping off. It was like, yo, Witch Hat is moving like
quick,
very quickly.
Yeah.
The pace in a good way, not in a bad way. Like we had talked about that with Fire Force too. Like sometimes pacing can be iffy. It feels like Witch Hat is moving at a very good, quick pace. And I think we will get enough of the kind of lower story that it's like, oh, sick. All right, this is what we're looking at or chasing. And like, Demons of the Shadow Realm, another premiere, is kind of the same thing. Like you're so lost in the lack of knowledge. It's like hard to see like where we're going with the story, but that is part of the charm of a premiere. Like getting to know everything and getting to know the story.
Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked for it again. This season has been nothing but phenomenal. Like it is so good. I cannot wait for this week. You know what I mean? Like give me more. I have everything on the schedule. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just like, because it's like nothing's missing right now at all. Everything is just completely hitting. And again, you're trying to like stay away, be like, okay, I have to limit how much I can watch, and it's just like, oh well, something else came up, and that's fucking Peak, so you have to watch it. You know what I mean? You can't just watch Peak and be like, all right, let's just wait. Like who the fuck does that? Like, yeah,
you're right.
Control. Anybody watches anime and has control, that's disgusting. I refuse to believe so. Yeah, it's non-existent. So I cannot wait to see kind of what this week has in store for us. Dude, let us know in the comments down below. Out of this entire season, which is just absolutely stacked, what is your favorite watch of the week? Because honestly, we're kind of starving this season because we're not isekai watchers. You know what I mean? Like this is the season of isekai, which is the crazy part. Like we're sitting here like, oh, we're watching way too much. If you're an isekai, you're watching even more. Like your like workload of like how much you're watching is doubled because it's straight up Peak. Like I mean, Reincarnated as a Slime and ReZero are like two of like the most insane isekais out there, and another one, Eminence in Shadow, is dropping a movie soon too, which is absolutely insane. So like,
sick.
Isekai's eating. Like, it's insane.
Dude, it feels like shonen did last, I guess, the
Mm-hmm.
winter season. Like, you had so many popular shonens. Like, if you're an isekai fan, you're definitely eaten. I would love to know, like, if you're watching a bunch of stuff this season, who's your favorite character? Like, who's your favorite new character, or kind of somebody who stands out to you? Because like we all get our favorites and stuff, but I feel like this story or this season has a really good mix of stories, characters, and kind of like abilities. I always like knowing kind of who people gravitate to as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the fun part too, especially with Wistoria. Because my buddy who's gone into the manga, we've been talking about it of like, oh, you know, like who's your favorite characters? That is one thing about Wistoria that I think is just absolutely peak. Is that it has our favorite trope of like the misunderstood, edgy character. You know what I mean? Where we're like, hey, no, we got his back, bro. You know what I mean? It has the characters who
Yeah,
like give off like sharp vibes. Agate's the same way in Witch Hat. You know what I mean? Where like she gives off a really edgy vibe, but you know there's that backstory that is just gonna like melt your heart, and you're like, I understand, I get it, I understand why you're like this. You know what I mean? And then you just root for them. So I cannot wait. Anime is just absolutely flying off the rails right now. You gotta pace yourself because there's just way too much to watch. But that's what's awesome about it. So we hope you guys are enjoying. Let us know your favorite anime and your favorite character of this season. And that is it. See you guys in the next one. Later, guys, and peace.
peace.